Hello, everybody. Happy Friday as we get started with another installment of Tea Time Tales. Hope you've all been good. Let's see. So, today I am going to be playing, as I mentioned last time, a leadership Eomer deck. Solo, as always. That was the deck that tied with, oh god, now it's been a couple weeks. I can't even remember what I played last time. Raciel, I believe. So those two were the ones who tied, so now I'm doing leadership Eomer. If this is your first time watching Tea Time Tales, what this is basically a kind of deck testing playground, lab, whatever you want to call it, thing, where I take an experimental deck that's not quite fully cooked yet, pit it against the quest, see how it performs, and see what that tells me about the deck and what changes I can make, or if it's ready to go, which happens now and then, but not always. Okay, some things. So as always, I reserve the right to scoop if things are going poorly, so that I can get some good gaming in what I try to keep within an hour's time. And there will be mistakes made because this is playing Lord of the Rings LCG and streaming at the same time, so those two things combined sometimes lead to me not catching some triggers. Especially against this particular quest, I'm playing the Antlered Crown today, which was the culmination of the Ringmaker cycle, which used time, and this particular quest took those time mechanics and said, so you like time, let's put time in on here, and we'll put time tokens on top of your time tokens on top of your time tokens. You can already see we've started off with time tokens here on this location, time tokens here, and time tokens on the quest stage. So hopefully I won't forget, but I may at some points forget to deal with those appropriately. Hopefully I won't. And then this quest, the Antlered Crown, also uses the Raven deck, which is a separate deck of enemies, separate from the encounter deck, and so enemies that are killed go in from the Raven deck go back into a separate Raven deck discard pile, which is another thing I often forget to do. So why did I choose this quest? As usual, I kind of wanted to provide a variety of quests so that I'm not always playing the same ones, and this is one that I haven't played for a while and thought it might be an interesting fit for Eomer, who is trying to kill things in the staging area, and seeing whether he can keep that up and keep ahead of the quest, which is constantly ticking down the clock. So let's talk a little bit about the deck before I begin. So I have Spirit Mary, Tactics Awen. She may be the hero I've featured most in my Tea Time Tales deck so far. Yeah, I'm a little bit addicted to using Tactics Awen. And Leadership Eomer, of course. And then I have our objective friend, Chief Church, who's obviously not always there. So I know one of the existing kind of fun combinations is using Galadriel to keep your threat basically steady. And she also lets you boost Eomer's willpower and potentially combine that with Harrogrim. That's a fun combo, but it's since it's something that's kind of already known and out there, I try to do, like I said, more experimental decks, at least ones that I haven't seen before on this stream. So I decided to go with Mary instead, who will give me something similar, in that the idea is he can help keep my threat low so that enemies don't come down, keep them in the staging area so that Eomer can snipe them using his ability, which is after he commits to the quest, I can spend a resource and he attacks an enemy in the staging area. But obviously it's not as consistent as Galadriel because it only triggers when an enemy pops out. So I have Hobbit Pony, which lets him kind of wait to commit to a quest until I see whether an enemy pops out and whether I want to use his ability. Other than that, I've essentially built this kind of very similar to a solo Fastrid deck. Of course, the big difference here is that this is Trisphere. But what I mean by that is I've used Tactics Awen to make sure my threat starts out very low, to have high questing power, and most importantly, to have access to Tactics weapons. So I have 6 copies of Tactics weapons in here, which usually ensures that you see at least one. Now, I don't have one in my opening hand, so I'm going to mulligan shortly. I think that's about it. We'll see the rest as I play, starting out my threat at 22, which is good for what we're trying to do here. I've picked a Raven enemy, which is the Berserker, because if I can get a weapon on Eomer, he can kill that Berserker first turn. The biggest weakness of this deck that I've identified is card draw, which is one reason why Galadriel is a great choice. I do have Foe Hammer in here, but we'll see how it goes. First turn, well, first I'm going to take that mulligan I talked about, and I hope to see a weapon. If I don't see a weapon, this is going to go poorly quickly. Okay, I got at least one weapon and some unseen strikes, so we're in business. Okay, what do I have out here? When this one runs out, then I have to draw the top card of the Raven and put it into play, engage with me. I don't like that one because I don't want enemies engaged with me. I want them to go away. So I will be trying to clear that out as quickly as possible. This one, after it runs out of time, then I have to deal damage. Also not good because this deck has lots of squishy 1-point allies and no healing, obviously, with no lore around. And the quest itself, when it runs out of time, then it removes one time counter from each location in play. If you can clear the board of locations, then it's not an issue. Alright, let's get this thing started. Okay. That is a good draw. First things first, I will put a spear on Eomer. Gives him +2 when attacking the staging area. I could save up for the swordsman, but I want some early willpower out so I can get through this location as quickly as possible and then travel to this and get that location out of the way so I don't have to deal with an enemy engaged with me. I think that's about it. Eomer needs his resource to trigger the ability, so let's go. We're facing down 4 for the moment, but we're going to commit 4, 6. There's 5 quest points on here, so I'm kind of going to be going all in here. Eomer will trigger his ability. That is 5 because he's attacking in the staging area versus 1. That is enough to kill the Berserker. Let me just make sure I have the right Raven discard pile here. The Berserker is gone. Okay, so we're looking at 4, 6, 7, 9 to 2. And I'm going to go ahead and pitch in Chief Church's 1 willpower. Just because I really want to make sure I can, kind of my whole goal here is if you don't get ahead of the time, if you don't get ahead of the time counters and these locations pile up, it's a world of pain. So I'm going to bet and hope I don't have this encounter deck studied and committed to memory, so I don't remember exactly if there are any enemies that'll pop out that will come down and engage me at 22 threat. But I'm betting not, hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's check in. Thanks for those who have joined me in the chat. Duran's father, man, it's been ages since I played this quest. Yeah, me too. That's kind of one of the other criteria I often use to decide what I'm going to play, is I try to play those quests that I just haven't broken out for a long time. Jank Tank Agot is saying, agreed, the Ringmaker cycle was when I came into the game. Great fondness and nostalgia for it. Okay, so let's reveal our card. Attached to the current quest, after a player draws any number of cards, that player deals 1 damage to a character he controls. Ugh, that is a tough first reveal because, as I mentioned, I don't have any healing. Fortunately, my deck isn't based on draw, so that's basically 1 damage a turn, but that's still some drip damage. That's not fun. What do we got here? Interesting. Okay, this is going to bump me up to Doom 3, which is very bad for this deck. because that's going to get me within range of some enemies. It also makes me draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Which means I have to deal 1 damage to a character. Thanks to this, I will deal it to Eowyn. Oops, not reading her, since she is not going to be engaging in combat. Until the end of the round, I can't play events. That's fine. So the threat sucks, and the damage I'm not thrilled with. But on the plus side, I did get some card draw, which I mentioned was kind of one of the things I was worried about with this deck. Okay, that all being said, I make 8 progress, so 5 here, 3 here, and that's a decent start to our game. We will go ahead and travel. And then both of these are going to lose 1 time. And then we move. And have to deal another damage. I'll deal 1 to Eomer. I also don't remember if there's direct damage treacheries in here or not. I mean, other than the one I'm already facing. Okay. Well, I will finish off powering up Eomer. He's got his full kit here. Although I do have some Dunlending marks, so he can actually get above the 7 to 8 or 9 or 10 even if you're supremely lucky. We will put the Hobbit pony on, which is going to be great for us so that we can take full advantage of Mary's threat reduction, which we need since we're up to 26. And I think I'll finish off by playing an Errand Rider, just to help soak up some of that damage that we're taking and to help spread our resources. So useful in a Trisphere. Okay, so let's send 4 and 6 at least versus 0. We can hold back Mary, but we can also put them in when we need it. I could send Eomer and Turch again, but I'm honestly a bit worried because my threat is high of what happens if an enemy pops up. Again, I did not study this encounter deck, which has both good and bad aspects. Good for entertainment value, bad for maybe being strategic, but I don't remember exactly what's in there. So I'll just keep it at 6-0. Remove 1 time counter from each location in play. Okay, that's not good, but hopefully we'll clear it out. Place 1 time counter on each location with no time counters. Okay. If there are no locations in the staging area, it gains. So it's going to gain surge on top of that. Things done then. Okay. After Raven Warrior engages a player. Okay. Well, here's the thing here. I could lower my threat, which would be nice. On the other hand, if I don't, that's going to be 6-3, and I'm not going to clear through there. So I'm going to have to commit Mary and pass up that sweet 3 threat reduction, unfortunately. Otherwise, the time counter will go off and I'll get an extra enemy, which I don't want. So we're going to make 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This guy doesn't have to come down, and the good news is Eomer should be able to knock him out next turn. I forgot to mention that the name of this deck is Long Arm of Rohan, which you can find on RingsDB now. Okay, let's move up. Not quite. First, let's remove a time token. Next round. Okay. I do have very good tail, but I'm not so much sure how much I'm really gonna bag with 2 total costs. So instead, I'll play a Ethereal Swordsman, and I'll remember to trigger this guy. So I'll go ahead and put that on the Errand Rider. It's about all I can afford right now. So let's go. 4, 6, 8. Commit Eomer. 4, 6, 8, 9. If things go right, I might actually advance. I'm not sure what happens if that is bad for me, but we'll find out. Okay, so Eomer 3, 5, and 7. His engagement cost is still higher than my threat. That's enough to knock out the Raven Warrior. So I'm facing 9 to nothing. Oh boy, another one of these, huh? Doesn't do anything though, thankfully, which is probably why it surges. Remove all progress, increase the total threat in the staging area if no park, so that's gonna surge. Surge train. Either remove 1 time counter from the active location, there is none, or reveal, so I'm gonna have to reveal an additional counter card. I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to lower my threat here, especially because this guy is above, this guy's engagement cost is below my threat right now. So I'll tap Mary, exhaust Mary, lower my threat by 2, and let's see what else I get. Okay, Dunland Battlefield. So that takes me to 5. I'm glad I committed a good amount of willpower here. So that's 4 on the quest, taking us to 8. We're almost there. Definitely gonna travel to Battlefield. Leave that guy there. Thanks to Mary, I'm still under his threat. And that means Eomer can kill him next turn. Next. Okay, so this is gonna go down to 0. And it's going to remove a time counter, so that's essentially going down from 2, 3 to 1, because it loses 1 normally, plus 1 from this. This goes down to 0, but then it pops up back to 3, and that's where we're at going into next round. Okay, we got some options here. Think I'll play the Defender of Ramas, just in case, again, I forget what happens in the next round, so just in case any funny business happens, I'll have an extra defender. Do have to trigger this damage again, unfortunately, which I guess I will place on Eomer. And that's about it. Don't have enough to pay for this swordsman yet, the other one, and I need Eomer's resource. So pretty straightforward here. I think I forgot to trigger this last turn, but I'm also not sure that I want to. Triggering when I destroyed the enemy, that is. I could do it this turn again, but again, because of this, and because I'm pretty good shape board state wise so far, I'll probably wait to do that until I quest to the next stage and get rid of this stupid treachery, which has put a damper on my day. 4 and 5 at least. This will trigger to kill him. So we got nothing in the staging area in terms of threat. We got 5 to nothing. We do want to clear through there, so we're gonna send 6 and 5, 7, 9 to 0. It should be sufficient, hopefully. We always have Mary as our safeguard. Oh, what is it with the treacheries today? Remove 1 time counter from each location. Okay, this is going to be bad. This is very bad. I'm going to have to dole out 6 damage. Yeesh. I don't even know if I have that to spare here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's because this goes down to 0. And I have 6 cards in hand. 4, 5, 6. I'm literally at capacity now. Which means if I don't progress through, then this is going to kill someone next round. I mean, it could just be one of my little chumps. It'll have to be the refugee probably, because she'd go away anyway. But that was terrible. I don't know what is with all these treacheries. Okay, well, let's see what happens. If there are any treacheries that deal like 1 damage to each character, then that's game over for me. Oh god, now we got another one that raises threat by 1 that also surges. I forgot how much surge is in this freaking quest. Can't remove a time counter from the active because there are no time counters that won't change the game state, so I have to choose to reveal an additional encounter card. I will use Mary's ability. And oof. Oh boy. This is piling on. So Doom 3, 1, 2, 3. I do draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. This is gonna trigger to raise my threat by 1, and this is gonna trigger to deal damage. So I will kill off the refugee, which also means I have less willpower. Ugh. Wow. Wow. That was then counter deck comboing me to within an inch of my life. Wow. Oh boy. I'm kind of at a loss for words now. Now the skirmisher is gonna have to come down. Because my threat has been raised to ungodly levels now. I will defend with the Defender of Ramas, which is nothing, thankfully. Man, I can't even kill this guy. But I can put 1 damage on him. Yeah, his lower engagement costs. I can't use Unseen Strike. No, I don't got anything up my sleeve. Well, there you are, Test of Will. I could have used you this turn for sure. Okay, next turn. That was that cleared my sinuses. Raise my threat by 1. This is really countering the whole point of the deck here. I've hit 2 Doom 3s and then this thing, so this is gonna make things very difficult for me. And I have to kill someone, so I'm gonna kill the Errand Rider. Okay, I need to do some recovery here. Let's put down. Trying to decide between Arwen and the Swordsman. Arwen gives me more defense. Swordsman. Let's go. Let's go Arwen for now. And let's go Errand Rider. Since Eomer doesn't need to use his ability. And now I'm pondering the very good tale. I'd give up one of my questers, but look, the board is clear. I only need 2 progress. I think this is the time to do it. So let's exhaust. Let's give the boost to the defender to try to keep him alive. And let's see, 4 to nothing. That's probably sufficient. Okay, let's go for these 2. Very good tale. My lack of success with a very good tale is legendary on this stream, which is probably why I have not included it for a while. But let's see how it goes. Hi, Finbarfin. Late to the party, or did you arrive precisely when you meant to? Durin's father mentioning Arwen can buy you another draw by soaking a damage. Right, yeah, that's a good call, and that's a reason why I put down the Errand Rider as well. Okay, let's see what we get. 1, nope. 2, yes. 3, nope. 4, yes. 5, oh! It's one of my better very good tail draws in history. I have some choices to make now. I'm definitely going to take the Theor Swordsman because I can do some crazy willpower. Now, do I need another defender or more questing power and threat reduction? Interesting choice there. Again, if I knew... I mean, usually as you go through quests, they usually put more combat. I mean, I know this Raven Chief is going to pop out at some point. Probably even next stage, potentially. Let's see, right now I'm rocking 4, 7, 9, 11 as far as next turn potential. I don't know, I'm scared with as high as my damage levels are that I should get the defender. Even though threat reduction would be really good. I don't know. That might be the wrong call, but that's what my gut is telling me. Sometimes I'm very conservative in terms of defending in this game, which is probably what happens after a long time of encountering the brutality this game offers. Either you start taking the YOLO approach and just go crazy and go wild, or you start having backup plans on top of your backup plans. Okay, that's my very good tale. I haven't even quested yet. So we're going to send A1 for 4 against 0. And I think we'll send the Swordsman just to be safe. Give me for 7 total. That leaves me room to use Mary. Oh boy, what is this madness? Okay, that's the same one. The good news is, if I can, as long as it doesn't make me draw again, famous last words, then I should be able to clear this quest and get rid of this. Okay, that is good, because I will trigger Mary to lower my threat by 3. 1, 2, 3. And he didn't make me draw cards, which is all I really cared about, because that would have been the end of my game right there. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could have taken 2 damage, but it would have made me very upset. Let's put it that way. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will now see what's on the back of this mythical quest card. I don't remember if I might have forgotten to take time off at the end of last round. I don't remember, but it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so these are all going to go to the discard pile. Thankfully. Raven Clan. Shuffle the Raven deck discard pile into the Raven deck. I think there's only just this one guy, actually. Oh, into the Raven deck. Sorry, not the regular encounter deck. Okay. Then each player takes the top card of the Raven deck and adds it to the staging area. Okay, come on, give me low threat, give me low threat. I mean high threat, high threat, high threat! You know what I meant, encounter deck? Okay. Well, my decision to take the defender is looking kind of smart now. So the new timed effect is after the last time counter is removed, then after reveal the top card of the Raven deck and add it to the staging area. And each location in the staging area gets +2 quest points. Whatever, I don't have any location control effects in this deck anyway. Okay, so Big Baddie doesn't show up yet. He must show up in stage 3. If I haven't said it a million times, I really don't remember this quest. It's kind of like it's brand new for me. Duran's father. Oh yeah, about my very good tale that I didn't whiff. It must be some new source for you. All those rituals are finally paying off. And hi, Delric. Okay. Well, this guy's going to have to come down, and his effect is after I draw cards, he makes an attack. So I'm going to want to kill him. The Raven Warrior can stick around. This guy has higher attack, so I will defend with my buffed up Defender of Ramas. No shadow. I will defend this guy with the other defender. Discard an attachment I control. Well, that's an easy choice. I'll get rid of the 0-cost Hobbit Pony and replace it next turn. So as good as nothing there. And let's see. So Eomer's attacking for 3, 4, and 5. He's only getting the +1 bonus, but that's still enough to kill the Berserker, thankfully. Could draw cards, but yeah, I'm kind of wary now that I got hit by all that damage. So I think I'm fine, honestly. Famous last words. Chief Church does not exhaust to defend. Well, he's not going to defend. He's going to attack, and which is enough to kill this guy, who goes to the regular deck. Just double checking I put people in the right spots. I think that's it. Other than removing time from here. And next round. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm just catching up on the chat. I got distracted. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. Delark is asking whether I switch quests. Did I name the stream Long Arm of Mordor by accident? Oh, I did. Yeah, because this is Long Arm of Rohan. That's why. Yes, the deck is Long Arm of Rohan, which is, and then I did a Freudian Tolkien slip and put Long Arm of Mordor instead. Okay, so Hobbit Pony will go back on Mary. Do I just get out the willpower now or save for my friend? Well, first let's get out at Honor Guard, which will help me with my damage situation. Okay, here's the dilemma. I could save up for a swordsman, I could put down the Sylvan Refugee, or I could keep a Test of Will in hand for these annoying treacheries. I could have the best of both worlds, save the resource in case I need it for Test of Will, and then if I don't, I could play Swordsman next turn. Just do that. I'm happy with that choice. Okay, so we're up against 3. We're going to send 4, 7, 10, 12. We'll buff our defender again with Arwen. It's 12 at least. We're going to send Eomer to take us up to 13. Use his ability, 3, 5, 7. Goodbye, Raven Warrior. 13-0. Okay, Raven Country. When this one runs out of time counters, I have to raise my threat by the number of cards in hand. Yeesh. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. So let's not do that. I make 10 progress, which is almost enough to clear out, but not quite yet. Probably next turn, hopefully. So let's travel there. End of the turn, these two are gonna lose a time counter. So ideally I will quest through next turn so I don't have to deal with its ability. But we'll see what happens. God, I get so nervous starting each new turn now because the first round with those stupid attachments on the quest card make me hate the approach of new rounds because I kept having to deal damage. Delaric mentioning he wants to go back and play Ringmaker again, except for Nin and Ilf. Yeah, one of the most commonly hated quests. Although strangely, I don't mind it too much compared to a lot of people. Durin's father mentioning there are some real gems in the cycle, but then Nin and To Catch an Orc. And I also, To Catch an Orc is actually one of my favorite quests, with the caveat only pure solo. I tried playing it 3-player and I just wanted to do something else. But pure solo, I really like To Catch an Orc. Okay, we are in the next turn. Man, I'm still getting so nervous about... well, I do have Aaron Rider, so let's do this. So let's play out the Swordsman. Got the full complement now. Let's exhaust Let's move one resource from tactics, who I don't have any tactics cards that require resource, to spirit. Use a spirit to... Oh, sorry. Save a spirit, rather, for test of will, in case I need it. Chris Jackson mentioning the bodyguards are miserable. I think that's in reference to catch an orc. Yeah, they definitely are. And the location lock in multiplayer is horrible. Delaric saying you're a brave man to wander through Dunland with a full hand of cards. Yes. Although, yeah. I was going to qualify it and say that, although this quest I feel like doesn't punish hand size as much as some of the earlier ones, but I didn't want to say that, because that would bring bad luck down upon me. But then I did say it because I wanted to have a good stream and say things. Okay. We got an empty staging area. Eomer leadership. Eomer is doing a good job helping us keep locked down, at least, if nothing else. 4, 8, 10, just with those 3. 14. And we're using R1 to buff him again, in case that wasn't clear. 14 to nothing. Should probably be sufficient, but we might as well send... Sometimes I keep my questers back. You never know when a spare point of attack might be useful, even though it doesn't seem like it. But in this case, I don't want to take any chances with things going off that I don't want to go off. Okay, that's a Raven Warcap. That's the one that runs out. You have to draw the top card of the Raven deck and put it into play engaged, which I do not like. We're going to make 16 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This one goes bye-bye. And we're going to advance. We're going to see what Stage 3 has in store for us. Add Raven Chief. Here he is. Look at him. He's holding that head just so everyone can see to try to intimidate. And Raven Chief's camp as well. This should have time counters on it. That one didn't auto-populate for some reason. When this one runs out, then I have to exhaust each damaged character. That could hurt. Okay, take the top X cards from the Raven deck and add them to the staging area. Uh-oh, X is the number of players minus 1. Oh, so it's 0. So that doesn't happen. That's just a multiplayer scale. After the last time counter is removed from this one, each engaged enemy makes an attack. Okay. And at the end of the round, if Raven Chief is in the victory display, the players win the game. Okay, what are we dealing with here? Well, he has 5 attack, 5 defense, 9 hit points, 14 kind of total points of attack to chew through, if you like to think of it that way. The good thing is that, unlike in a lot of the other decks I've shown you, where I often use Awen's ability to early game to deal with enemies before I have attack power, in this deck it's the opposite, where in the early game Eomer and my threat is low, Eomer is taking out enemies so I don't need it, and Eowyn can save her attack for big boss enemies, like hello Raven Chief. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let me catch up on chat a bit. Dunland Trap is a tricky quest. Yeah, that's another one I haven't played in ages that I may need to play in a stream soon, but that one also requires particular builds, so I'll think about it. Fords of Eisen is still one of my favorites, says Delaric. Yeah, that's a good one. And not just because it features a version of Grima. Okay. See. So I have the choice of going here to try to avoid that, or here. It's really a no-brainer for me because until I clear out... where is it? Yeah, it's on his card. It mentions, while the camp is in play, the chief cannot be damaged. So I cannot kill him until I clear out the until I clear out the war camp. So I'm not going to waste time. If this goes off, that sucks, but let's take care of business. So we're going to travel to the Raven Chief's camp. He is going to come down and play. when he attacks, after remove one time counter from the active. So that's really, ideally, I want to clear through this next turn, hit him, and that's over. Let's see whether that actually happens. Yeah, the Ringmaker, lots of people in chat are talking Ringmaker right now. The Ringmaker cycle is really interesting because it's, I feel like it's a bit of a divisive cycle. Some people like the time mechanic, but some people feel like it just makes things too fiddly. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. I like the time pressure it brings, because there are even still some modern quests that you can just turtle and just demolish. I think Dungeons of Kirith is a good modern example of that. But then it can be really fiddly, and yeah, like most other players in this game, I tend to forget triggers sometimes, and the time counters can really make that difficult. And there's just some other kind of interesting mechanics here and there. But it was also an interesting time in the game where we had a transition in the design team at that point. Alright, let's do this thing. So Raven Chief is going to attack. He's going to remove one time counter from the active. I'm going to defend with my 5 defense defender against 5. The Raven Chief cannot have attachments, but other than that, his only special ability is to remove time, which is special. Deal attacking enemy 2 additional shadow cards from the Raven deck. Oh, that makes me a bit scared, because that makes me think there's going to be some bad shadows from there. Oh god, what is this? Discard an attachment I control. Okay. I'll get rid of my Hobbit pony again. Sorry, Mary. He's just churning through ponies there. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. Ugh, one of the worst ones. Okay, so the defender survives, but I'm gonna have to throw this Ramos defender to the wolves. He gets another shadow. Oh, God, are you serious at this point? Oh boy. What are the odds of drawing that twice in a row? Really? And you just know I'm gonna draw the additional attack one again. Okay, that one doesn't have one, thankfully. I don't know why I highlighted everything there, just to illustrate my frustration, I suppose. Attacking enemy gets +1 attack. Okay, that's fine. He was dead anyway. Defender Ramos is dead. And again, I'm still happy with my choice to bring in that defender. Okay, I survived that little escapade. I can't attack him because I can't deal any damage to him. So there's no point to that. Instead, we'll just remove time from here. Remove time from here. And remove time from here. Everything is about to go off, but and in fact it is gonna go off when he attacks, but only if I don't manage to make it through. So yeah, really the mission is just to make it through this this chief's camp. Okay, next turn. No point holding back anything now. Let's get that refugee into play. Let's get an Aaron Rider into play as a nice trump blocker if needed. And I was gonna pay for Unexpected Courage, but now I'm just gonna hold on for a Test of Will. Treacheries and Shadow Effects are the things that are really are the things that can mess up my plan right now more than anything else. Oh, you're right, Durin's father. Good catch. He did attack twice, so this went off already. Oh boy, that's not good. Good catch. That changes everything. Thank you. Yeah, that is, so all of these would be exhausted. It's damaged character, right? Yeah. And then it would go down to 2 at the end of the round. Oh man. Okay, that changes things. Let's see. I need to puzzle out how I can kill him. And whether I still need... Man, those shadows are so nasty. Let's see. With her, she'll be attacking for 10. Eomer can chip in for 5. That's enough between the two of them to kill. She can ready. I could put an unexpected carriage on Eomer. Then we'd be looking at 4, 8, 12, 14, and 16 against 2. And hoping that's enough to get through. Okay, yeah, I think that's the battle plan there. And just have to hope I don't need a test of will. Thanks, Durin's father, for the key catch. That makes things a lot different and potentially a lot more interesting. Which interesting in Lord of the Rings LCG often means potentially table flipping. Frustrating. But no, it does make this last one very tense. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, 14, and 16. We are going to buff our favorite defender again. Thanks to Arwen. 16 to 2. We get another war camp, which that is fine. That's definitely something that I'll enjoy seeing because it's not a treachery, it's not an enemy. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Although this doesn't have quest point progress to complete, so that doesn't matter. This goes to victory display, and guess what? That means we're going to be able to attack the Raven Chief. I'll travel to the war camp, just in case. You never know what might happen. I shouldn't need it, but yeah, we'll see. Let us go ahead and take on this attack. He's going to remove 1 time. Yeah, since he removes time counters, you know what? Let me go to the one with more time counters on it instead. So he's going to remove 1 time, defend with him. Let's see though. Oh, Durin's father is pointing out that I removed 2 counters for the end of the turn for Raven's War Camp, but it didn't matter. Yeah. Just one of those fiddly things like I was just talking about. Deal 1 damage to the... Oh, boy. Raven Chief is hitting me hard with the shadow effects here. So that's going to take out the Ramus, and that means I'm going to lose a hero. Sorry, Mary. The other 2 are kind of vital to my game plan here. So Mary dies. And Awen and Eomer have to get vengeance. Trigger Awen's ability. Raise her up to 3. She pops up. Ready. Eomer with unexpected courage. Awen attacks for 10. Eomer attacks for 5. 15 minus 5 is 10 damage. See you later. That is it for the Raven Chief. If Raven Chief's in the victory display, he now is the players win the game. That does it. All right. So we got victory at the cost of a hero, our poor little hobbit friend. Man, that Raven Chief, despite me having him in a good position, he really fought back with those shadow effects. You cannot say he did not put up a good fight at the end, because, oh boy, that was, he was hitting me left and right with those. Okay, thoughts on the deck. Excuse me. Overall, I really like it. I think it's viable and kind of good alternative to a deck that does a similar thing, which is the solo fast Druid I mentioned. So why would you play it over the solo fast Druid? Well, variety's sake, I think, is something. The solo fast Druid is a bit more stable, just in the fact that it's just running, 2 spirit and 1 tactic, so it's pretty simplified. The thing I like about Eomer is He proves to be a good attacker if you do get engaged with an enemy, like we've seen a couple times. Having him in leadership opens up a few options that are obviously not possible in the spirit tactics, like including a very good tail, like including the Dunedain marks. So Eomer can potentially get pretty higher, potentially even higher than Fastrid, although we didn't see it this game. And with Errand Riders, I think you could see that it didn't, the resources weren't too much of a problem. And in general, I haven't found them to be. So yeah, I think the deck works well solo. It's not going to work against every quest, but you can say that for solo Fastrid as well. The difference is that with solo Fastrid, he has a way built into him of getting enemies back into the staging area. Terrible to Behold can do similar things for Eomer. But if you don't draw it, like the only copy I saw was the one that I discarded for a very good tail, then it doesn't do anything. So really, scenarios where you can keep your threat low and enemy engagement costs are decent, 25 plus range, 28 plus range, then it can do well. The quests that will hurt this deck are ones that feature a lot of direct damage, because this deck has a lot of kind of shorter, smaller hit point allies. That's why I started throwing the Errand Riders, the Honor Guards, your Arwins. Those are going to be your indispensable allies to deal with archery direct damage. And any quests that force you to engage with enemies, obviously, like I mentioned. Yeah, I think those are the main ones. Other than that, it can do pretty well. And when it gets control, you saw in this game, the questing power is high. And Eomer is able to keep the board cleared of enemies without having to deal with combat. So, and usually you should be pretty well set up to deal with big boss enemies. Although I'll say that, Raven Chief is maybe not the hardest big boss enemy in the game. So if you're constantly have to deal with the big attacks, like this deck, obviously, because it's built to handle staging area combat, it's not built for defending big enemies over and over. Like 3 Trials is a good example. Don't take this against 3 Trials. But other than that, yeah, I think it's a solid deck. It's a good choice. It's a lot of fun to play. Leadership Eomer uses his ability a ton, just taking out enemies left and right. Card draw can sometimes be an issue, but if you're not playing a quest like this that punishes, you can use your foe hammers, which are going to trigger often because there's a ton of weapons in the deck and Eomer is always killing things. And I included a very good tail as a kind of card draw. It's not card draw, but it lets you get out allies further in your deck and thins down your deck a little bit. So, yeah, that's about it. Until next time, thanks for joining me. I will put up a new poll sometime during the weekend so you can vote on what I will play next time. Until then, find me in the usual places, Tales from the Cards page on Facebook, on Twitter at TalesFTC, FT Cards, sorry, on Twitter. And let's see, what else? What am I forgetting? Visit the YouTube page and subscribe, and go to RingsDB and make sure you give a like to Long Arm of Rohan, or give it a try, or suggestions. All of those are welcome. And until next time, see you guys. Thanks for joining me.